Oh my god, there's oil everywhere. It's on the ceiling. It's all over me. It's like a bad porn movie. Uh-oh. Bam, this time at the Quick Speed Shop. I think it's time. I'm putting oil in the 37 Ford. Let's see if we can get it running. It's going to be exciting. I hope it works. It should. We're going to find out right now. I just put a gallon of Rotella 1540 diesel oil in there. And I put some 75 140 gear oil in the transmission. I think I'm going to fire this up without water, and obviously there's no radiator. I just want to get it spinning over, get the oil pressure going, try to get the fire. I've got a new battery to put in there, 6-volt battery, and it should go. Got the clutch linkage hooked up, the transmission's in neutral, the wheels are off the ground, so it shouldn't go anywhere, fall off, run away. But I think I can crank it over, and I'm going to hook up, because I'm still building an exhaust system. I've just got the head pipes made now. If you've seen the exhaust video, I've just made head pipes. They're stopping about here under the car right now. And I got to do some more welding, so I'm not going to put fuel in the fuel tank, but I have an electric fuel pump mounted about here in the frame. So I'm going to run a hose out to a gas can here on the floor, and we'll use that to suck a little bit of fuel, and I can unhook it so I don't have any fuel. Actually, I could even hook up a gravity thing right here, but we'll run the electric fuel pump. But it should fire. Got all new plug wires, new coil condenser, points, plugs, new carburetor. Electric fuel pump worked last time I tried it. Putting oil in it, so I think it should go. I got Rochambeau'd by the previous owner here. I was filling up the oil. This was the dipstick that was in it, and I pulled it out when I put the oil in it, and it was way up here, and I got looking. It says 8BA. That's for the 49 to 53 style flathead. So luckily I had a 59AB block. I pulled the dipstick out, and look at the difference in the length here. It was that much, the difference of the oil is that much, so I've got the correct dipstick. It's a little grungy on top, I got to clean it up, but now we can check for the proper oil. I want to be in the safe driving range, not the danger zone. Don't be in the danger zone. But that's, got that going. So I've just been filling her up with oil. Over here on the oil, above the oil pump, I've been nurse feeding it some oil down through this hose into the oil galley and the oil pump gears are, to try to get some oil into that. I think I'm going to crank it a couple times, put a little bit of oil in there and just kind of crank it. I can leave the ignition off, leave the fuel pump off, and just crank the engine and get the oil going in it. So, okay, I rigged up a little, I got about a gallon a can, don't worry about mix, it's not got mixed gas in it right now, of 90 non-ethanol. Ran a hose up to my electric fuel pump under here. So I'm going to crank it first without the fuel pump on. I've got it hooked to the ignition switch so I can run it without that. I just want to get it spinning over, try to suck some oil into this oil pump. So I'm going to set you back up over here. I'm just going to hit it real fast. I'm going to get my oil jug here. Try and nurse some oil into this. It might shoot oil up out of the hose because of oil pressure. But got the car in neutral up in the air. I can hit the starter button over here. Let's see if she cranks. Oh yeah. Uh-oh. And it's going to have to crank faster than that. Gonna have to crank faster than that. Did it take any of this oil? Yeah, it's taking some. Crank her some more. Probably ain't gonna fire cranking that slow. Alright, let me jam a bolt in that for now, temporarily. See if it'll hold. It doesn't appear to be cranking very fast whatsoever. I don't know if this is going to shoot out. But I'm going to hit my ignition switch on, see if I can hear the fuel pump running. Oh yeah. We're on the accelerator pump. Where's the throttle here? Okay, she's squirting. me Whoa! Can't believe it. Hold on a minute. I can't believe it. The freaking fired. Close the choke a little bit. Let's try her again. I don't know much about this starter. Put a voltmeter on this battery. I got 6 volts in the battery. I don't know about this. I don't know about this starter. That might be a problem. That's hot. That's hot. It's drawn. Woo, that's hot. It's drawing a lot of amperage out of that battery. I smell it cooking. A little nervous here. Let's not have the battery explode on us. I'm gonna guess the starter is not very good. That's super hot. The wire to the battery is hot. Or the wire to the starter is hot. It definitely fired once, but that Alright, I took that brass piece right out of the way, and I also made, so I got a new positive cable, or a negative cable, I mean red, going to the battery. It's 4 gauge instead of 2 gauges. I hope it's going to be alright. And I've got a new ground strap, which I can't get the bolt out the body by myself. This old ground strap is corroded. So I bolted it to a cable which goes down to the frame where the bolt goes to the engine and everything. So I have a good positive ground here. So I'm going to touch this on here and see what happens. Yep. So leave that on there so I can crank it off. Alright, now let's see if it cranks any faster. If it doesn't, we know that starter's bad. So I'm just going to hit the starter button right now. Man, it doesn't want to crank fast at all. Didn't make that hot. Let me turn the ignition on. Let's try it, I guess. We got oil pressure. Holy moly. It's got oil pressure. Yikes. Hit the roof. Look at that. Bam. Fired up. Holy cow. Well, that definitely worked. Now I got a mess everywhere. Oh, the rags are out. We're out of rags. Dang it. Who's in charge over here? Who's in charge? Yikes. Man, that fired right up. Holy moly. It's like a tractor, she'll run. Oh my god, there's oil everywhere. It's on the ceiling. It's all over me. It's like a bad porn movie. Except with oil. Yikes. Oh my. That was awesome. That was awesome. It's everywhere. Alright, I gotta put a 1/4-inch plug in that because obviously that works. We got oil pressure. Man, it blew that bolt out of there like a son of a gun. There's oil on the ceiling. Man, she fired off! Bam! Alright. I'm going to clean this up. And I'll put the 1/4-inch plug in the intake, or in the oil galley. Get this hose off here, and then we'll give her a go again. Let's try it again. I plugged the oil galley. Here we go. Man, it's that starter. Dang it. Come on, come on. Nope. Dang it! We would have had a success if the oil hadn't ruptured. Yeah, it's drawn a super bunch. Let me disconnect this again. It's drawn a lot. That's drawing a whole bunch of amperage. It's heating everything up. Darn it. Almost positive. I don't have another starter. That's not true. I got some of my other flatheads, my Care Wilson units. Let me go rob a starter out of there, and we'll swap it. Which that's where I got this one. I robbed the starter out of here, but it's got to be. It's got to be that starter. Is no good. Okay, let's try it again. Oops, that's the wrong ground. Let's use the right ground, the right temporary ground here. Change up the starter for one of my other units. Let's give her a go here. Let me just hit the button, see if it whirls over any faster. That appears to be better. Here we go. Why is it pulling so hard? Well, how about that? That appeared to do something. I guess it runs. Holy moly! I shut it down. I couldn't see the low pressure gauge, but it had like 30 on the gauge. Dang! Well, ain't that a thing? Let me see if I can set up a video here. I talked to my friend, who's a flathead guy, actually who I got this engine from. He said because it's been rebuilt, put back together, and then it sat around for a couple years, it's probably pretty tight. And I did some looking on the ham and stuff on the Ford barn as well. And flatheads tend to be tight. There's people that have put together, and the 6-volt has a hard time cranking it over when it's new. I'm also making a mistake here by just using this temporary battery cable. You need the really fat cables because the 6-volt draws more amperage than a 12-volt battery does. So this isn't helping me to have the small temporary battery cable here, but I don't have a long enough big like O gauge or 1 gauge one. The starter cable's fat. So I put on a 6-volt charger for a little bit here, put some charge into it. It'll still look like it was taking some. I'm going to give it a go again. We'll see if I can fire it up again. Some of the guys suggested cranking it over and jumping it with a 12-volt battery, getting the engine going, let the engine run and break in. Obviously I don't have any coolant in this, so I just want to see if it's going to fire. Again, we'll run it for another couple of seconds, and then I'm going to have to put the radiator in it and fill up with coolant before I can really run it. But I'd like to hear it run again here, so let's try it. We'll see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? Everybody dies. Oop, that sounds a little bit stronger. That's it. Damn, bro. That's good. A little bit of heat in her. That's what it is. It's got a little video for the Instagrams. That's what it is. The battery needs a full charge, and the thing is just tight because it's brand new. You see it once it fired. It sounds strong. It seems to be running on 8 pretty good. The carburetor needs a little bit of adjustment. The timing might need just a little bit of adjustment there, but it seems to be pretty strong once it gets going. Man, it's loud. I gotta put the rest of the exhaust on it. It's loud, but like I said, the oil pressure gauge, it was up past, probably up to like 30 to 40. So it's got good oil pressure. We saw that when it freaking spurted. Yeah, I'm feeling better now. I just think that battery might have just been down a little bit, and it's so tight, it's going to take a while to break it in. So I'm going to have to definitely put the radiator on it now, get coolant in it, get the exhaust system going out back some more. Then with coolant and the fan and stuff, can fire it up and let it run for 10-15 minutes, get it to break in here a little bit easier. But you barely get any action with 6-volt. I mean, you're struggling to get it to roll over, even on the best of days. But it sounds snappy, and it seems to work. I mean, I don't hear any clanging and banging, throwing rods or nothing. And got the brand new Stromberg on there. The electric fuel pump's obviously working. So I'm going to call this a win, and we're just going to have to do some more tinkering and fussing with it. But she definitely runs. Definitely runs. Yeah, just that little bit. Woo! She's warm already, so I'm not going to run it anymore without cooling in it. I'll work on putting the radiator in, button all that up, and then we'll, next time on the video here, we'll have it with some coolant so I can run cooler. I'll mess around with it some more. I'll get the right gauge battery cables, hook them up with a big fat cable so it's not drawing on there, because 6 volts, it takes more amperage with a 6-volt battery to do the same thing. So when you're converting from a 6-volt car to a 12-volt car, the wires, even the ignition wires and everything, the wiring for the lights is usually bigger in a 6-volt car because it takes more amperage with the less, or it takes more, I should say this, it takes more amperage with the lower voltage to run equivalent of what 12 volts is. That's why they went to 12 volts with things. It takes less amperage to run the same amount of stuff. We heard it fire, the 59AB, she's alive, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to drive this car. Now we're in the home stretch. Like I said, I got to finish the exhaust, put the radiator in. I got to nut and bolt a bunch of stuff, make sure everything's tight, put a bunch of cotter keys in. I got to torque the rear drums on the axle stubs. I'll put gas in the actual tank when I'm done welding on the exhaust system. Set the thing on the ground, and I think it should be ready to break in and start moving around on its own power. So, a little struggle today. Spurting oil everywhere like a bad porn movie. It was everywhere. But we got her going, and I'm feeling better about it. So, pretty exciting. Man, it sounds good. Flatheads are awesome. Loud pipes save lives. And we'll see you back here doing more cool hot rod stuff at the Quick Speed Shop. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home.